And we're almost live. Today's episode is sponsored by Holy Milk. I've got a test package here. Delicious vegan milk that has no seed or vegetable oil, refined sugar, natural flavors, or non-organic stabilizers. This stuff is delicious. Check out the Holy Milk Instagram to find out where you can purchase Holy Milk in New York City. Now on to the episode.
Street of Jones, this is my street. My family settled here 85 years ago. My family settled here 225 years ago, made themselves a street, and now here we are on beautiful Jones Street.
You saw Ted Jones.
I feel like every comic has like an Unhinged notes app. Like
Definitely.
the
You whip out your phone. Do you have your phone?
Okay, yes.
I'm gonna get mine. How you doing? Happy Sunday. You know, I don't usually record on Sundays because it's the day for the Lord. No, I'm just kidding. Good to see you, Katie.
You too.
How's life?
It is good. I'm usually a piece of shit on Sundays. So
You just like chill and for the most part.
Yeah.
You drink or no?
I used to. I haven't for almost 7 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, congrats. I was going to ask if like Sunday's like a big hangover day, like get the bacon, egg, and cheese or what?
That's what's interesting is that I was so confident that not drinking was going to like turn me into a morning person. Like I would just like spring out of bed and seize the day. And what it's proven is that I'm still, I could still sleep till 2 p.m. Sober without a hangover.
The
So
thing
that's
is
upsetting.
like, I'd say probably from the ages of like 17 or 18 to 26 or 27, I was drinking like at least 4 or 5 times a week. And I never really understood why some days like I'd wake up, even if I didn't drink, I would just feel like shit.
Yep.
And it's just because I think the alcohol is in your system and it
Yes.
affects your sleep. So now
Yeah.
you're sleeping well, so you probably feel better.
Well, I wouldn't call it sleeping well.
Yeah.
I would say but actually what it has taught me is that it's the alcohol wasn't helping it. Like it's not, the lesson is not, oh, I might as well drink because, you know, it wasn't making that much of a difference. It's actually more highlighting the fact that my sleep patterns are just very inconsistent. Like during the week, I'll get like 5 or 6 hours.
Okay.
So that's why on the weekend, then I kind of crash. So what I'm working on now is trying to, you know, rewire my, because I think we
Like
all
get
got
the same amount of time every
during
night.
the pandemic. It was just like you had no, like, you know what I mean? It didn't
No
matter.
real schedule, yeah.
Yeah. So like I used to be able to fall asleep by like 11 or 12, and now that like got pushed back for like an hour and a half.
There's so many things that distract me before I go to bed.
Oh, same.
Like I'll go to like in my room over there at 8% battery, and I'm just like, for the most part, I won't put my phone down until my phone dies.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that like I just have to allow.
I feel like the hours between 10 p.m. and 12 a.m. don't exist for me.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know where they go, but it's like a phone warp.
Well, what do you're just like on the phone from
Yeah.
10 to 12 for the most part?
Pretty much, yeah.
Do you eat at that time or no?
No, I usually eat dinner like pretty early.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
more, I will go on, have you heard of the term like sleep procrastination?
No, but I can imagine what it is.
It's kind of this like I'm so acutely aware of my toxic traits, but sometimes
Well,
you
we need
can't
to hear
fix your
more.
own. Yeah.
Okay, sleep procrastination.
Yes.
That's one.
It's sort of when when you're very overwhelmed, and like work is really busy, or you've been doing like you're not giving yourself enough time during the day, and so it's this sense of this is the only time I really got to myself today, so I'm gonna consume content. I'm gonna watch something. I'm gonna just stay awake at least and have some time for me, but it's actually sabotaging my sleep patterns. So
I hear you.
I love to diagnose
I think
myself.
like, well, probably before cell phones and everything, people were trying to get the same amount of sleep every night. And now people are just, I guess, sleep deprived. Naturally, people, especially being in New York, people are walking zombies.
Yeah, yeah.
How much sleep do you get though, like on a good night?
During
you're an 8-hour girl or what?
I feel like I feel like I am, but I've been living the 6-hour girl life, and it's getting to me.
When I have 8 hours of sleep, sometimes I just don't feel well rested.
Yeah.
Like I'll go to sleep at 11 and then I'll wake up at 8 and I'll feel good. But if I wake up a little bit before that, I don't know what it is. I think it was also before the light bulb was invented. Apparently we were sleeping more. Like people were sleeping 9 and 10 hours.
Wow.
Which makes sense. And now people are struggling with the 6 hours sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I've never been I'm not like, my brain is the most active at night. It's like 8 p.m., 9 p.m. My neurons are like firing.
Well, that's perfect. That's like right around comedy time, you know?
Yeah. So.
And your show, the show that you do, Bitch Sesh, or you do two shows. One show where it's like a hot topic, right? Where it's like the comedian will pick a topic or like a suggestion, right? Do you do that one?
No.
Did you ever do that?
I don't think so.
Oh, well, sorry. That was
That's
bad.
okay.
Bad research on my part. But you do.
I do Bitch Sesh, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So what was it? I've seen your show before, but like you were reading something.
We basically we ask the audience like a petty prompt or something.
Yes.
And it'll be something like, what was something you hated about your ex?
Okay.
Like who's someone that really annoys you? Like anonymously talk shit on them. It's kind of just something a bit innocuous, but like fun. And then we'll read them in between each comic.
Does the comic take that suggestion or take that topic and run with it, or no?
They don't have to, but
Right.
usually there's something fun for them to kind of jump off of.
So it's not like it's not improv comedy.
No.
It's just
No.
like if you overhear something that was funny,
Yes.
maybe bring it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. How long have you lived in New York?
Almost 12 years.
12
which is
years.
crazy.
Where'd you grow
I know.
up?
I grew up in Philly.
Where in Philly?
Like Lower Marion.
Oh, no
Yeah,
way.
Yeah.
My mom went to Harriton High School.
So did I.
You did?
Yeah.
All right, nice.
That's so funny.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, which is probably everyone who
Yeah.
didn't grow up in Philly, that was the rival high school of Kobe Bryant's Lower
Yes.
Marion, right?
Yes.
But were you guys as good at basketball, or maybe
Probably
are
not.
you now? Probably
Who
not.
knows?
No. So my mom grew up in Gladwin.
I'm basically, I have like a Gladwin and Narberth zip code, but I went to Harriton. But the towns are all so close together that
Okay.
I will usually just say like Lower Marion or Villanova because
Okay.
people know that the most. So
Did you go to King of Prussia Mall a bunch
Yes.
as a
Yes,
kid?
I did.
Do kids still go to the mall?
I think they do.
I mean, I guess you
I
haven't
would
been there
assume.
in a while, but like that seems
I
like
would assume,
one of the
yeah.
more fun things to do if you grow up in the suburbs is
Yeah.
go to the mall, right?
Yeah. Going
What?
ice skating on Friday nights was like a big thing in
Oh,
like middle
nice.
school. That was
You guys would have
what
like
the kids did. Yeah.
what, like parties there?
Yeah.
Middle school parties and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Kids are getting iPads by the time they're 8 and they're even younger. They're at the dinner table
know.
pressing that iPad. I really wonder what's going to happen with
Yeah.
all these kids. They're going to be like cyborgs with like one half of a computer being
Yeah,
able to see
it's-
TikTok all the time. It's nuts.
My brain too. I mean, my day job, I work in social media, so it's I can't escape it. I'm just consuming things all day, every day.
Are
So,
there
like,
things that you
can't be good
see
in my brain.
differently during your day job than at night? Like when you're on your phone and you're scrolling, are you seeing like things that are more related to your work? And then when you do like the pleasure scrolling at night,
Yes.
is there a difference?
I would call my night scrolling more of a doom scroll. Well, especially now. Like I will. The last couple of, then I know it's horrible for me, but I'm just like, why don't I just catch up on this, Israel and Palestinian conflict and watching documentaries on YouTube at like 1:30 in the morning. And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is going to calm me
and it's
down.
just like an unlimited wormhole,
Yeah.
especially that issue.
I would say for my day job, it's more, I'm a creative director, but I kind of came into it like on the social media side. So I'm not just kind of like approving content, like I'm making it. I'm also logged into the brand. So I'm commenting, I'm replying, I'm
Do you have
checking
two
the
different
DMs.
phones?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So like which one's going to be the serious and then which is going to be like the fun scrolling.
Yeah. I mean, checking Chester Cheetah's DMs is pretty fun.
What's that?
Cheetos.
Oh, Chester the Cheetah.
That's my secret
Okay,
identity.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
yeah,
Love
I'm
it.
Chester.
Nice. That's amazing. That used to be one of my favorite foods. Cheetos.
Yeah.
Do you like the hot Cheetos or regular
I do.
Cheetos? I'm
I
a
do.
vegan, so I'm not allowed to
Yeah,
have
yeah.
that anymore.
Yeah.
I would love if they put together a vegan Cheeto, but I don't know how.
I think they're trying.
I don't know how
but
good that would be.
I don't know.
Well, it's just because vegan cheeses, we don't really have a cheese that we latch onto that well. Like cheese has been something that's been hard to replicate. There are a lot of burgers and other type of replacement meats that have done a good job.
Yeah.
Chicken, some burgers, but cheese has been difficult.
I mean, I try to limit my dairy too, and so sometimes I've had the vegan cheeses, and I think there's one that doesn't make me upset.
Oh yeah, and you can't even name it.
I forget what brand it is.
Yeah. There's a lot, but I haven't.
One
really
of them
found
I
one.
just know smells like feet, and I will.
Oh, you like the good one smells like feet, or no?
No, the bad one. The bad one. I was like, never again.
So when I went vegan about 4 years ago, I just kind of gave up cheese because I couldn't find one that was good, which was tough for lunch a lot because I was always a chicken and cheese type guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now I'm just chickpeas and beans out of a can.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
Rice. What made you move to New York? Was it a creative director job?
No, I didn't start that until I would say like 20. Well, that was a new title as of like last year or 2 years ago. But I've been working in advertising.
Congrats.
Thank
Okay.
you. Working in advertising, I would say for like 7 or 8 years. But when I first moved here, it was really, I want to do as much comedy as I can. I want to learn. So I did a lot of freelance, like random day, like random gig stuff. Like I was a front desk person at a New York sports club.
Oh, yeah?
I stood in for child actors. That was probably the weirdest one.
Well, I feel like being a front desk person at a sports club, it was probably good for riffing. That's like it was good for comedy too.
It was for a little bit.
Or
yeah.
maybe not so much because you're just like, thanks for checking in. Have a good workout.
Yeah.
Right? That's like basically
I thought it would give me so much ample free time, but I just hated it so much that I was just miserable. And then that made me not.
Well, why'd you think it would give you free time though?
Well, just because I was like, but in between the rushes, I thought, I can just write. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
But there was a lot of distraction, and I think I was just, I don't know, I was not like settled in my life, if that makes sense.
Which New York sports club?
It was the one in Chelsea, so it was close to.
Oh, that one closed down, by
Did
the
it?
way. You know?
Oh, I didn't know
Sadly
that.
enough, I used to go there.
Oh
Oh
my
my
God.
gosh, like probably 8 years ago, I used to go there. Was that when you were there or no?
I think I was like around 10 years. Yeah.
Maybe I probably saw you at the
Maybe.
front desk once or twice. That was a nice gym.
It
I remember
was.
that, but
It was.
sad that it closed down.
Yeah.
What was like the transition from, or did they allow you to work out also? Did you get an hour each day?
Yeah. Yeah.
And was that built into your shift or no? It's like you work
No,
8
it
hours
was-
and then you'd
yeah.
also be there and then you'd
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
work out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, or anytime I think about people working at the gym, I'm like, oh, that's such a good job. If you're working there, then you can just
Right.
work out an extra hour, but you probably don't want to do that if you're standing around all day.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
thinking about how the people today on the front desk, I was like, oh, I'd probably have just a 3-pound weight and I just
Right,
do
yeah.
dumbbells the whole time, but there's no,
Yeah, that's
that would
the
last
thing.
2 days. You know what I mean?
You think
I'd
it's
get
going to
too
make
sore.
you super productive. It didn't.
Yeah. Interesting. When did you change from that job to pursuing stand-up comedy more and then also social media aspect?
So I was like doing stand up. That was sort of like what I was doing while I was doing stand up. And I was also taking like a bunch of sketch comedy, improv classes, things like
UCB?
that. Yeah.
Me too.
UCB.
And then
the
March
Pit.
2020
I know.
happened.
RIP.
So apparently they're opening second cities in Williamsburg,
I heard that. Yeah.
something like that.
But I think that this could be me being cynical. I feel like improv is kind of on its way out. I don't know. That's a personal.
I haven't heard that and I agree.
I mean,
Wow,
I
that's
just think we have
and stand-up's going up a little bit.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
a little bit, actually a lot. Like people love stand-up now.
Yeah. I think, I mean, if you look at SNL, the sketches that are the best are the digital shorts. Like, it's really hard lately think of the last, like, staged sketch that went super viral. It's always the digital shorts. You know what I mean? It's always the video sketches. And I think it's because, I don't think SNL is going anywhere anytime soon. But I just think like we're so used to seeing the punchlines of a sketch in 1 minute, 2 minutes. But sometimes that stage format is just like, there's a lot of fluff in the middle of the parts that you really like. And when you're when you're watching like character stuff on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube even, you can just cut to,
The funny part.
the funny parts. Yeah. But I still, for me, improv got, I felt like I was putting all this work into something that I wasn't getting much back. You know what I mean? It was like, you'd have a great show, you'd have these amazing what you created will never exist again. And I just hated that.
You're relying on a few people also to do well at that particular time, and then to practice, to meet up, when stand-up comedy is just so much, so much more independence.
Yeah.
We had Sebastian Canelli. I'm not sure if you know him. He's like a big improv guy, was at UCB, was on the Lloyd teams and things like that. And he was saying that being in improv, he just felt that at certain times, I don't know how he feels now. We spoke about a year ago. He was saying how there are just dead ends in improv, which is sad to kind of admit. But I think that with people and their short attention spans, especially like you're saying on an SNL, it's just like people want to get to the point. And if they don't get to the point in that particular video, okay, they'll scroll to the next video that gets to the point. What have you seen change in social media since maybe TikTok really got hot, which was like 2020, 2021, with stand-up clips, and what have you seen change?
I mean, there might be someone before this, but I actually I don't think I wouldn't. I think it's the platforms that changed, but I think like Schultz is one of the first. I was literally going to mention that. Oh, by the way, can you look at my socks? That's cute, right? What does it say?
Nice Jewish boy.
Oh, I
haven't worn these in a while. Look at this. You guys see this?
My mom would love this.
Yeah, well, there you go, Mrs. Haller. There you go.
She wants me to find an NJB.
There he is, NJB, baby.
Oh my God, I keep knocking this.
No, you're good.
I think he was like one of the first to just be like, fuck it, I'm gonna put my shit on the internet and not be so precious with it. And now, you see a lot of people releasing their own albums, putting their stuff out there
on YouTube just for free.
Now I feel like my whole feed is just clips from comedy show. Like I used to always voice record, but now I'm like, if I don't get a video of the set and post it on the internet, like what was the point?
Are you using your iPhone when you record?
I usually do. Sometimes if the club or show has
their own camera, then that's the best to use. But I think I totally agree with I think he found a niche also with doing as much crowd work clips as possible. Like he was on tour and it just looked like every show there was 5 to 7 minutes that he could easily put up online. Even stuff pops up today on my Instagram or YouTube algorithm that was stuff from 5 years ago when I watch it, and then he kills. So I think he kind of loosened up comics and giving away material.
Exactly. I think we've had to get a lot less like precious with like, oh, I can't put this out, or like this is my big closer, no one can hear it.
Been working on it for years.
It's kind of forced you to, I actually don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, because I think it can kind of help you. It's just like another forum to get feedback on a joke in progress, Like it used to be unheard of to post a joke that's not really tightened up and like worked on, but now it's sort of like, all right, this is a new one. If it does well, or you can use the comments to kind of see what hit, what didn't.
Hopefully the trajectory of comedy is going more towards music, and that, like these musical artists can go on 400 dates with 15 songs. They're singing the same song over and over, and people still bug out every time. People are singing it.
And every time I get in my head about, oh, I'm doing the same joke or something, I look at, artists and, even comics that I really like. And even though I've heard their joke before, I'm still excited to hear it,
Yeah. From what I've experienced, or when I've talked to comics, like every maybe 2 to 3 years, comics are like, I want to change my material, which is kind of like the same time span of a musical artist too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I struggle with, I get sick of jokes very quickly. So I feel like I don't spend enough time on things for like I feel like I don't spend a decent enough time on things before I like cycle them out or bring in new things. So that's what I'm trying to work on now. So
you think that you don't develop the thing to its full before you get rid of it. I sometimes feel that way too.
Yeah.
Or it's like I've done the joke 20, 25 different shows. I'm like, all right, let's do something else.
Yeah. Or I get excited by new ideas, but then I end up having a lot of like half-baked things that I'm
kind of me too. And that happens more so on my notepad app. I don't know how you do, but like I'll see something funny on the street and I'll write it down, and then I'll go back and think about it, and I'm like, wasn't that funny? Or that's kind of a throwaway.
It's a great premise, but then there's
a lot behind it.
I feel like every comic has like an Unhinged notes app. Like
Definitely.
the shit.
Should you whip out your phone? Do you have your phone?
Okay, yes.
I'm going to get mine. So sorry for your loss. At a funeral, which is interesting. You can go that way. You know, because my bit here was saying that people probably at funerals initially were like, oh my God, I'm so sorry this person died. I'm so sorry. And then the person was like, it's not your fault. Why are you sorry?
Right. Yeah.
And then the first person who was like, I'm so sorry for your loss. You know, like who was the first person who said that? Genius. And now that's the only thing that people say at funerals. You know what I mean? Like nobody says so sorry. It's just so sorry for your loss.
This is a random
pretending you don't know everything about the about the person before the first date.
Oh yeah, that's a for sure thing.
Vietnam. What's that word?
Vietnamese?
No. The word where you say like Vietnamese denies. What's that word?
Vehement. Oh, you know what?
Fuck.
It's vehemently. I've read it. I've read it a million times.
And I've heard it. But the only time you use that is when you're guilty. Vehemently.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, vehemently. Yeah, vehemently denies in a forceful, passionate, or intense matter. The only time you ever hear that word is when a person's probably guilty. You know? Okay, go ahead. Right? So true.
Oh my God.
Vehemently denies the baseless
there,
baseless accusations.
Yes, vehemently.
You did it.
Wow, okay.
So we need this is like a podcast in itself. Bring on comics and just check out their notes out.
It says my Hurricane Sandy was a blast. I fucked my ex.
Is that and that's just the start of it?
It's true.
Okay, that's good.
Oh my God.
Is that a new one? That's a new note? All right.
Why? Oh, I think because I was doing a different joke about that ex, and then I was just like thinking about the breakup and everything. And yeah, I just remember
during Hurricane Sandy.
It was before Hurricane Sandy, but I was really close with his roommate, and so remember when we all you were here? Were
2012.
You here yeah. So everyone either had to like go, like I was on the Lower East Side at that point. So so we all had to like go somewhere to stay.
Yeah.
And so they, you know, I was like really good friends with both of them. And so I just went and like stayed at their place. And I think in my head knew, I was like, something might happen here. Yeah. So it was like during that time that like one night
Side note, how'd you meet him?
Through a sketch comedy class at UCB.
Oh, cute.
Well, no, I was friends with his friend. And then we were shooting a sketch together and he brought his roommate. And so then I started dating the roommate, basically.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. You have one of those, what's it called? A pop socket on your
Pop
phone?
socket,
I haven't seen those in a while.
Because I just drop shit a lot.
Oh, okay. It helps you hold it?
Yeah.
I think I used to have one of those.
Okay, yeah, this one I've been sitting on for years. I just need to like, but I do like the premise a lot of like really deep Reddit threads, but then you realize people's username is like ridiculous.
Yes.
Like you ever like, they'll go into like, they'll write like a thesis on, you know, like geopolitical crisis or like the side effects of a medication, like shit where they sound very educated.
Yeah.
And then their username is like queef basket. And you're like, wait, what? Like,
and people don't even realize that.
Yeah, you're like, I'm taking medical advice from this person.
Queef basket, yeah. That's hilarious. Reddit's a crazy place. And then that also happens on like YouTube comments or something. People will just give like the history of something and they don't even have a face for their icon. Yeah. It's just like some
people's
weird
usernames
background. Yeah, people like to hide behind the internet sometimes.
Yeah.
Keyboard warriors, as they say.
Keyboard warriors.
You know
people in the comment section are the worst.
Do you ever write down stuff? Or no, you use the iPhone now?
I do, yeah. Sometimes my brain kind of works differently when I'm writing.
In a good way?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I kind of do both. Like if I have more of a filled out bit, I can write it down.
Yeah.
But if it's just like a premise, I'll write down on my computer. What made you move to New York? Was it the job and then you got involved in comedy, or you kind of just wanted to end up in New York?
I went to school for like television, radio production, and I knew I wanted to be a comedy writer because I loved sketch comedy in college. And I actually never like thought about doing stand-up until there was I went to Ithaca College, and so there was a student-run TV station, and there was this they had a stand-up competition where there was not one woman signed up. And so I just dared a friend of mine. I was like, we have to sign up. She was like on the sketch team with me. And so that was like how I ended up doing stand-up for the first time. And then, you know, it was in front of, a lot of comics are different. I always do better when people, like either friends or family are in the crowd. It just relaxes me. It like reminds me to be more myself. It kind of, I go on stage sort of as me and not as a comic trying to win over a crowd. You know what I mean? It's like a very subtle shift. But anyway, so my first set went really well. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to move to New York and be a star. And then like I remember going to open mics and just being like, wow, this is not fun.
Yeah. So like the comics in the back not paying attention on
and
their
I
phone.
used to perceive that as just totally bombing and nothing. Like Sean Donnelly, I really credit him for like keeping me in stand up. He said something that's just like it just was such a mind opener of but I remember I used to go to his mic and then I just stopped going. I started doing improv because it was safer and nicer.
Oh my gosh.
And one day he just was like, he messaged me and he was like, hey, where you been? And I was like, oh, you know, I've been doing improv and whatever. And he was like, you're really funny. And I was like, you've seen me bomb every time. And he was like, you don't go to an open mic to do well. He's like, if that's your goal, like you're doing it wrong. And he was like, first of all, comics aren't listening to you. You know, it has nothing to do with he's like, you're not going to ask for validation of your material. You're going because you know in your gut something's funny and you're there to work it out for yourself, but you're not there to get validation from the other comics. And I was like, whoa. Because then that just made me trust my gut. It was like I had no gauge of if it was a strong joke or, you know, I was, and then I started getting in the habit of writing for comics and not writing for a real crowd. And the way that the judgment of every single thing that I was writing was crippling. So that it just allowed me to trust my own judgment of like, I think something's funny. And if it doesn't land, it's not because I'm not funny. It's because I need to work on the joke. And what I've sort of realized in the last couple of years is that I love stand-up and I'll always do it. But I'm also like, there are some comics that they have to do it every single night. And it's the creative outlet that fuels them. Whereas for me, it's just one outlet. And I am much more of a collaborator, just like in nature. So that's why having a day job that fulfills me creatively, I was just really like depressed without that. And I've noticed once I started like working in social media and having a job as, you know, a copywriter, you know, social media manager, content creator, I've had a million titles, but like that, being able to have a day job that fulfilled me creatively was like.
Would you say that collaborator and creator are the same things or no?
No, I think it can be, but I like creating things like with other people, whereas stand-up doesn't really give you that. So, but you know, then there's times where I just want to talk about what I want to talk about and get on stage and just do it.
That's interesting because just to circle back what you were saying about the improv being the easier thing to do initially, like I think that's really where I was, you know, like in 2018, 2019, running through 101, 201, 301, 401 at UCB. It was kind of like, oh, like this is fun. This is the easy next step.
Yep.
Where stand up, it could go so bad on one night and so good on on another night. But in improv, it's always just kind of like, for the most part, everything's baseline. Maybe you'll blame something on your partner because they didn't say yes and. Yeah. But it's a lot easier to put blame on people when there's 7 other people on stage.
Yeah. So, and that's why I stopped improv, because I realized I was like, I'm doing this as a safety net. And then I went back fully to stand up.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think improv probably 20 years ago, when Whose Line Is It Anyway? SNL was taking a lot of people from these sketch groups in New York City and UCB, and then also that's, Second City.
What fueled so many people taking these classes, because it was like the main way of getting seen by SNL. But it was before, like now it's like they just pull from TikTok.
Yeah.
You know?
It's wild. I think it's going to be an interesting transition over the next 5 years to see where social media and then where actual good live performers stand. Because there are comics that we know who are 45, 50 years old who have been in the business for 20 years and they have like 1,000 followers and don't have a TikTok.
Yeah.
So I just wonder how that's going to pan out.
Yeah.
And then YouTube's becoming huge. Like you said,
Yeah.
people releasing their hours online. But I mean, you could get a lot. It's definitely beneficial for comics now because it's not just everybody wants that 30 minutes on Comedy Central. People can be seen by anyone.
Yeah. It's true. It's exhausting though. Like that's where I'm struggling at the moment is like my day job is all helping either brands or it's like I'm working on social media for other people. And then for myself, I can look at anyone's page and tell you exactly what you should be doing to grow. Can't do it for my own page. For the life of me, I can't do it.
Because then it's literally a 24-hour job.
Yeah. But
I find that even for myself during the day when I'm like, oh, I can post 10 different posts on the Facebook, on YouTube Shorts, on YouTube, then on Instagram, and it gets exhausting.
Yeah.
So what's something that you could suggest for me, maybe, if we can do a case study? I enjoy Man on the Street. I do vlog stuff. I like podcasts. I like stand up.
A lot of it is in like the on-screen hook or the copy. So like that's a lot of what I do is like diagnosing like why didn't something do well. But then there's also stories of people posting the same exact thing a month later, and one time it goes viral, one time it doesn't. It can also just be the time of day, the caption or the description is like so important. Like I need to know exactly what the clip is about if I watch it. So I don't know if that's helpful or not.
On Instagram?
On
anything.
Yeah.
So what's an example of that?
So like if I'm on Spotify and I'm looking at podcasts and the episode description just says like we have this guest and like it's kind of vague, I am less inclined to watch it than we have this person who talks about this and then halfway through gets into this and then because that's I have ADD. So
well, everyone does.
Yeah. I really have it, but I know we all say that. But
did you take Adderall as a kid?
Yes, I did.
I did too. I hated it.
Yeah.
For like 5 years. Anytime I took it, I was just dead for 2 hours. I'd be talking for 30 minutes and then, I don't know, it just messed up my whole personality for a long time. Yeah. It was messed up. Concerta or like Ritalin?
Like Adderall.
Actual Adderall?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of different brands besides that.
Yeah.
That's nuts. So what was something that was fun about growing up in Gladwin? Excuse me, you didn't grow up in Gladwin. And what was it called?
Narberth, Gladwin.
Narberth, kind of same thing?
Yeah.
What was something fun about that? A lot of sports growing up?
I played tennis. I loved tennis.
No way. We have so many things in common.
I know.
I played tennis at UConn.
Okay.
So I
My
played tennis
sister
a lot.
was better than me, but that's fine.
Did she play tennis in college?
Yeah, she did.
Where'd she go?
Or no, sorry, she didn't. She was like singles. I didn't play in college. I stopped playing after high school. And now I'm embarrassingly a pickleball girl.
Oh yeah, you switched to pickleball?
Yes.
To the dark side? You know, I've never played pickleball, which is
I only
crazy.
do it because it's easier on my knees.
Well, that's probably what everyone says.
All the old
to be
people say.
honest.
Yeah. And I'm not even old yet, but
you're
so I played. I just don't have, this is like the difference between my sister and I and why she was.
Is she younger or older?
She's 2 years younger, but she is a competitive person. I am not so much. Like if I'm playing a game, like if I'm playing board games or something, or like any type, or like betting on something, like I just don't care. Like if I lose, I just don't care. And I would care like playing like tennis, you have to really want to win to close it. Like I would do really well in a first set. Then I would like kind of start coasting. Then I'd get so pissed at myself. And then I would just be like, I'm tired. Full house is on. Like I'm trying to go home. And like my sister would be like, no, I'm fucking winning this. Like, so it's like, there's such a mental thing for playing sports. You have to mentally really need to win. If you are ambivalent, you're not going to win.
Do you think that kind of transfers over to comedy? Like if you have a set that you weren't too happy about do you get off and you're like, whatever, I'll do better next time?
I mean, I would say with comedy, I'm I can definitely be hard on myself. Like, I think you kind of have to be, it's a balance of like wanting to improve things, but like giving yourself, you know, being nice to yourself and not always shitting on yourself. Cause comics are good at that. But, yeah. So I was like half sports kid, half theater kid. And I loved like doing the musicals and stuff. And like,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Does your family still live there?
Yeah.
What made you want to go to New York? Was there like a movie that you saw, or you realized that like if you wanted to get into the field that you studied in college, you needed to move to New York?
Actually, if I followed what I studied in college, I would have moved to LA. A lot of my college friends all live out there, but I remember like really looking at like Tina Fey's path. And even though she was, you know, she spent a lot of time in Chicago, before coming to New York, I also just looked at like the state of comedy, and I was like, it, you know, real stand-up is like in New York. And in terms of like how many opportunities and places there are to get up on stage, I just felt like if I'm gonna want to learn this, I should be here.
Maybe
you know?
this is bad that I'm asking this, but did Tina Fey ever do stand-up?
No, she didn't.
Okay.
She didn't.
Phew.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And what happened with her face? Did she get stabbed by someone? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
She's like a big scar on her face. I gotta look this up just so you're not like, what the shit is he talking about? No, yeah, she has a big scar on her face from, I think somebody, hold on. Oh my gosh. A Vanity Fair magazine article tells how Faye was attacked by a stranger wielding knife when she was 5 years old.
Whoa.
It was in like the front yard of her house, and somebody who just came up and thought somebody marked her with a pen. Oh my gosh, 5 years old, she got stashed. Yeah, I'll pop up the video. I'll pop up a picture right here. But look at that.
Oh.
Yeah, you can't notice it at all.
I've never even noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's like I got hit in the face with a ceiling fan when I was probably 26 years old. You can't really see it that much. But I'll tell people I got hit in the face by a fan, and they're like, "Oh, what? What fan hit you? Shouldn't they be a fan?" But no, it was a ceiling fan. Oh. And I almost lost my eye. Thank God I got both eyes, man. Do you have any accidents like that when you were a kid? I feel like everybody kind of has that one. They ran into a glass table or what?
I mean, I broke my wrist falling off a scooter, but I don't know.
Razor scooter?
Yeah. I was like going down a really steep hill, that was dumb.
But growing up, you were like passionate about theater? Yeah. Not really sports? You just played sports?
I liked playing tennis, but I think that was sort of like what, I didn't know in what way I would be a performer, but that's where I felt the most like excited, was like, because I was always like, I was a dancer in the plays. I wasn't, if I could have one like superpower, I don't know if it's superpower, but I just wish that I had a really good voice. I wish that I could just like sing.
Like
my life would be so different. Oh my God. Yeah. If I had a good voice, cause I don't know. I just wish not Broadway, but I would have loved to be a musician in a, like, I mean, and I do musical comedy, and I can kind of, you know, auto-tune, or I would say my voice is average, slightly above average, but I wish it was great.
Do you play an instrument besides your voice?
No, I don't.
Do you ever think about playing one?
Yes.
Which one?
I actually really want to learn to DJ.
Oh my God, you should.
Because I think I'd be really good at it. There's a lot of buttons. And I get overwhelmed.
It's like one of these, but probably like 3 times the size of it. And the buttons are...
This is like a new...
You want to make your own music? This is a new passion project?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well, because I was very late to... I always associated house music and like techno and like dubstep. I always thought they were the same. Like in like... My 30s were basically my 20s in New York, if that makes sense. Like in my 20s, I was very lame. I would say from 25 to 30, I had started like working a full-time job. And like by the week, I was either doing stand-up or like just like hermiting, because I was just you know, I am naturally an introvert. So like I would just not have the capacity socially. So the pandemic was actually good for me, because it opened up like a much bigger space for me, you know, to go out, to socialize, to hang out with friends. And, you know, just like, I had like a party state, like 30 to 31. I was like 25.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I was like, let me do coke for the first time. Let's go to raves. Let me
Like go to
get a
Marquee
tattoo.
and
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah. I was like, the second I turned 31, I was like, I'm a rave girl now.
What
I don't
tattoo
know.
did you get?
Well, I got this one. That was for my grandma.
Does that say something and it's a flower?
It says Iris, which was her name, but you can't
Cute.
really, I didn't want it to be very obvious.
Okay.
But, and then I got this one last year.
Oh, nice.
And then a little whale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How do your
I think
parents
I'm
feel
good.
about your late tattoos?
They don't love them, but
Whatever.
don't-
It's with the times.
Yeah.
I feel like mostly everybody has tattoos now.
Yeah.
The only tattoo I think I would get was like maybe a little heart that's like a little bit sus, or like a smiley face right there. But I
Yeah.
don't know. I haven't thought about it long enough.
Yeah.
You know?
But anyway, yeah, I started getting really into house music. And
You have any favorite artists?
do you know like Dom Dalla or John Summit?
John Summit, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so his manager was on the tennis team with me at UConn.
That's so funny.
Which is cool.
Another
I haven't been to a show
artist
yet,
called
though.
Don't Blink is really good. It's like I always find I have a hard time remembering because house music is like you listen to more individual songs. Like it's rare
Less
for me to listen
artists.
to like a full album of like a DJ.
right,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? I really like Sophie Tucker.
Do you know Peggy Goo?
I don't.
I can't explain. I got a feeling that
I know
it's
that's-
not-
oh, yes.
da, da, da. So I found her song the other day, and I've just been bumping it like
Yeah,
the last 2
yeah.
weeks. Yeah, but I feel like that's right. You find like one song from that artist, and like you don't even know who sings it.
Yeah,
unless they have like
exactly.
a big presence about them. Like
Yeah.
maybe Marshmallow with the hat, Dead
Yeah,
Mouse
yeah.
with the hat. What's up with that?
I don't know.
It's weird.
But
I feel
like-
like a comic should do that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I feel like there's an open space there. I used to do more like hip hop comedy, and now I'm kind of getting more into like the house space because it's kind of untapped.
How do you mean
untapped?
hip hop comedy?
I would just do like
Raps on
parodies or like
stage?
funny raps. Yeah.
Okay, so like every time, like before we started the show at the Ted Jones Comedy Show, when we did it, I would do like a freestyle rap. I get a word from the audience,
Yeah.
and then I continue
See,
that way.
freestyling's really hard. I'm not like if you asked me to like write a rap in 2 minutes, I could do it. But if I had to freestyle for 2 minutes, my brain would freeze.
It's such a different.
It's a really
art form.
different-
You know,
yeah.
like you see guys like Jay-Z can freestyle, but I mean
Yeah.
the best freestyler of our generation today. You probably never even heard of him, Harry Mack. You heard of this guy? He'll go on Omegle, which is this site where you can just see as many people as you want. You switch, and then it's just people who are
Wow.
on all different places in the world. And he'll ask the person for like 4 separate words, and then just does
Wow.
the craziest freestyle of all time.
yeah. It's. I mean, and you can you can get better at it.
Sure, but I think it's a skill that
Yeah.
like, you can hone in on. I went from doing improv to doing freestyle raps at the Black Hat to finally just getting the courage to do stand up, because I felt like anytime I would go up there and do freestyle raps, there were a lot less was expected from me, even though
Right.
it might be the opposite. But I just felt like anytime I went up there and like I didn't have like pressure on,
Yeah.
oh, like people would know like this guy just made it up right
Yeah.
now, so it's okay.
right.
If I wasn't comfortable with something, I'd be like, oh, well, let's try this. There's
Yeah.
something that's related to it.
Yeah. Now I'm trying to just combine the two more. I always thought of them as like different paths, but I think I have to just combine them because it's that's the thing that I get the most excited about. Like when I'm writing funny songs is the thing that feels the least like work.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Would you consider it sketch writing or no?
Sort of, in that it's like I'm trying to make a song that essentially is this, because it's like if I want to write a song, it has to build like a sketch. It has to have some type of story or premise or thing that I'm pointing out. Like I did one, this was a few years back. It's kind of become like a cliche now, but it's called like Bros Holding Fish. So it was like, that was this topic that I wanted to get out.
Oh, like on a dating app?
Yeah.
Like just holding the bass?
Yeah.
Open mouth?
Oh, yeah. Hand in the gills.
That's hot. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. I don't think, I don't see them as much anymore because I think it's finally.
Yeah. People heard
But
that
they
song
had
and
a
they're like,
long-
all right, we can't do this anymore. Yes, you're actually right. I feel like guys got the memo with that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
probably the ick number one.
Definitely,
for girls.
I would say.
Would you ever release an album under a rapper type name or something like that?
My rap name was Teaspoon, which I actually thought was pretty good.
All right. TEA?
T-spoon.
Okay, that's lit. People used to call me T Money.
Really?
So maybe we could have collabed.
We could have, yeah. Teaspoon money. But now I just want to have it under one name just because it's less confusing, and I want to weave like my stand up into it. So that's kind of my big goal for the next year. Is like
do a full show where you just do your songs.
No, where I have kind of a hybrid of like sort of like Bo Burnham, how like he goes back and forth between jokes and songs and jokes and songs. Like I kind of like that format of just having the song, but then having the material that is adjacent to it.
And I think that's an untapped market. I think you should.
Yeah.
I think you should do that. Katie, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Before we get out of here, we're popping up your Instagram. Let us know where we can find you. And if you have anything exciting coming up, please
holler at you on all platforms.
That's a funny name.
On all social media platties. That's what I like to call it.
Platties.
And my next Bitch Sesh show is December 5th.
Love it. Guys, check her out. Katie, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Peace.